The Asus TUF Gaming A15 is no longer a thin model, it has a full-fledged cooling system, so it can have more powerful components, a processor and a discrete video card. The 15.6-inch 144Hz IPS screen is ready for gaming. Let's see how the near-top configuration of this laptop performs. Configuration and packaging. Asus TUF Gaming A15 model uses processors from Ryzen 5 to Ryzen 9, all of the new Ryzen 4000 family, up to 32GB of memory, a discrete graphics card from GeForce GTX 1650 to GeForce RTX 2060, SSD up to 1TB. In a word, this is not a top-end, at least not top-end gaming solution, but the laptop can be very productive. In the kit with the laptop, there's only a 230-watt power adapter with a power cord, 1.7 meters long, and its own cable 1.2 meters long. In theory, the kit can include an Asus TUF backpack and a special gaming mouse. This should be specified when purchasing. Appearance and ergonomics. Compared Asus ROG Zephyrus G15 GA502U, also on a Ryzen 4000 series processor, the Asus TUF Gaming A15 FX506IV is almost half a centimeter thicker, with the same linear dimensions, and 200 grams heavier. This does not make it radically stationary, but still this laptop is less likely to be shoved into a backpack and run to a meeting. Like all notebooks of the TUF Gaming series, the A15 has a characteristic appearance, which we would call semi-gaming. There is no conciseness of business models, many small details of an unobvious form and purpose, but at the same time it is not an aggressive design of purely gaming notebooks with backlighting, color accents and broken lines. More precisely, there is a black version of the design with red stripes and a change in the direction of grinding on flat surfaces. But the working surface in both cases is the same. Visually it looks very nice, fingerprints from it quickly disappear. The visual distinguishing feature of the case is the trapezoidal cutout at the base of the lid, which is why even with a closed laptop the status indicators, power on, charging, disk activity, airplane mode, located on the plane of the working surface are clearly visible. The sides of the case have bevels at the bottom, which makes it easy to lift the laptop off the table. The hinges are quite tight, but the lid still has a slight backlash when touched. It is easy to open and deflect with one hand, without holding anything anywhere. The lid deviates slightly more than 135 degrees, including moving downwards, but in the end it does not rest on the table. Situated around the perimeter and in the center of the bottom bezel, the feet allow sufficient clearance to the vents, even when the laptop is placed on uneven or cluttered surfaces. A traditional pair of speakers is brought out both on the bottom and on the bevels. The sound should not be muffled. The laptop has no interface connectors on the front and rear panels of the case. The front is generally empty, only ventilation holes are located at the back. There are also few connectors on the right, since another ventilation section is brought out there, only one USB 2.0 and a hole for a Kensington lock. But the left side partially redeems such modest equipment. There is a power connector for a branded round-shaped plug, a full-fledged network outlet without folding parts, as well as an HDMI video output, a combined mini jack, input and output, 2 more USB Type-A, and 1 USB Type-C. The USB ports on the left side correspond to USB 3.0 Gen 1, speed mode, and Type-C to even USB 3.1 Gen 2. In addition, USB Type-C can serve as a video output with DisplayPort support, but the laptop refuses to charge through it, and, apparently, charging mobile devices with USB power delivery support from a laptop is not provided. The side bezels around the screen are almost 7mm thick. A webcam with a signal LED and an array of microphones is located in the upper segment of the bezel, 10mm thick. Its quality is traditional, 720p, but not high. Almost the entire width of the working surface is given under the keyboard, which made it possible to fit a keyboard with a numeric block in this 15-inch laptop. And although the keys of this block are a little too small, like the arrows, in general the layout is very comfortable, as if not the most convenient of what modern laptops offer. The arrows here are not just isolated, but also crawl out of the standard bottom row. At the same time, a thick space of a complex shape comes out there. All this helps a lot when printing. There is no noon lock indicator, which is strange, since there is a bright indicator in the caps lock key. Maybe this is explained by the small size of the key. However, if you do not switch the operating mode of the digital block, this will not bother you. The keys of the top row of the keyboard are reduced in height, but are broken down into building blocks of 4 F keys with significant gaps in between. Del and INS are combined, as well as Home with N. You can use different buttons of the digital block with FN to enter them. The FN button is duplicated in 2 places, so there should be no problems with convenient chords. The power button is located outside the keyboard. You won't be able to press it accidentally. By default, the top row of keys performs the functions F1, F12, and it can control the parameters of the laptop, changing the screen brightness, switching the profile of the cooling system, turning off the touchpad and wireless networks. These buttons must be pressed with FN. The keyboard has a membrane mechanism and an island arrangement of the keys. The buttons are moderately large, comfortable. The distance between the centers of the keys in one row is 19 mm, slightly more than usual, and between their edges, 4 mm. The buttons are, as expected, very quiet, but also with fairly firm pressure and travel of about 1.5 mm, so the feedback is felt better here than with conventional membrane keyboards. There is a 3-level brightness backlight. The 4th state is off. It is curious that the symbols on the keys are very weakly illuminated. The main effect is achieved due to the glow of the transparent sides of the caps. The semi-transparent game WASD keys stand apart. They just become very noticeable. As for the backlight color, here are used RGB LEDs, and using a proprietary utility you can choose any color in one of several effects. When running on battery power, the backlight turns off automatically after a minute of inactivity. You cannot change the timeout or disable this behavior. Under the keyboard is a slightly recessed touchpad with a 108x60mm touchpad. It has 2 dedicated keys, corresponding to standard mouse buttons, and the touchpad does not support pressing, which is even unusual nowadays. However, the touchpad supports all modern gestures, including scrolling through the contents of a window and invoking the context menu, switching desktops, minimizing and maximizing windows with 2, 3, or 4 fingers. There are no complaints about the convenience of working with the touchpad. It can be quickly disabled with a keyboard shortcut or from a proprietary utility. Internal hardware. By unscrewing a few Phillips head screws, the bottom panel of the case can be removed. This gives access to both coolers, a non-removable battery, a wireless module, an SSD in the M.2 slot, and 2 memory modules in the SO-DIMM slots. The laptop has several modifications, and in the older ones, with a GeForce RTX 2060 or GeForce GTX 1660T, another M.2 slot with APC interface is available for installing another SSD drive. The laptop also has a compartment for installing an HDD. Software. The laptop ships with Windows 10 Pro with the familiar McAfee antivirus trial. Let's select my Asus and Armoury crate from the set of proprietary utilities. My Asus is a collection of system information, diagnostic tools, technical support contacts, frequently asked questions, etc. Also, the utility allows you to keep track of driver and firmware updates. Of the bundles of interest to us with hardware features, the ability to enable the battery life extension mode, charging it not fully, up to 60%, 80%, 100%, if you do not need long battery life. The Armoury Crate utility is responsible for configuring the hardware. Its main function is to switch the operating profiles that determine the performance and noise of the laptop. Among the additional features, we note the output of information about the operation of coolers. At the time of testing, this was the only way. Quick enable/disable the Win button and touchpad when the system boots. Visual monitoring of low-level parameters. If you install the Armoury Crate mobile application on your smartphone and pair it with a laptop, you can steer the parameters from your smartphone. There are 3 main profiles here: silent, performance, and turbo. You can quickly change profiles by cyclic search, by pressing FN plus F5. The silent profile, as the name suggests, limits system performance in order to keep noise at an acceptable level. Turbo, on the other hand, sets the cooler revs higher so that the cooling system does not become a performance limitation. Performance provides some balance between these profiles. We will consider their work in detail in the section on load testing. The Windows profile apparently provides control over the system operation to third-party applications, settings made in BIOS setup, etc. That is, Armoury Crate does nothing in this mode. Unfortunately, unlike the previously seen Asus laptops, there is no manual profile here, in which it would be possible to manually set the minimum and maximum speeds of rotation of the cooling system fans. Note that among the information on coolers, the utility displays the approximate noise level of a laptop in decibels, and practice has shown that it corresponds very well to the results of hardware measurements made with a sound level meter. Battery. The laptop battery has a capacity of 90 watts. The laptop battery has a very impressive volume, so this is an attempt to create a hybrid of a powerful gaming laptop and a portable one. But, of course, portable use does not imply gaming, since a powerful discrete video card consumes the battery in an hour. But surfing the internet, watching a movie or a TV series, or working, if the work does not imply long-term processor-intensive calculations, will take a long time. The time to fully charge the laptop battery from the standard adapter is a little more than an hour and a half. In the proprietary My Asus utility, you can turn on the battery life extension mode by choosing how much to undercharge the battery, in accordance with the typical laptop usage profile. The corresponding LED on the case lights up red when charging, up to 95%, and white when working. When the discharge is below 10% it starts blinking red. In the settings of the energy saving profile, it is impossible to set the critical discharge level below 5%. Workload and heating. The Asus TUF Gaming A15 laptop has two hot chips, a 90-watt discrete Nvidia GeForce RTX 2060 video accelerator and a 45-watt AMD Ryzen 7 4800H processor. The cooling system is used here, which is traditional for such cases: small pads on the CPU and GPU and several heat pipes to the radiators at the rear and right walls of the case, through which two fans blow air. Cold air is sucked in mainly through the holes on the bottom of the case, while hot air is blown out back. While it does not bother anyone and even practically does not heat the lid, and to the right-handed hand lying on the mouse may heat up a little. Note that the heat pipes intertwine the two coolers so that even under load only on the processor, or only on the video accelerator, both fans still work, and together they cool more. Asus states that the coolers have a self-cleaning system that removes dust through special channels bypassing the radiators. Conclusion. Summing up, we can say that I like the laptop very much. The Asus TUF Gaming A15 has a very powerful, for mobile, processor, which allows you to use it without restrictions for solving any professional tasks. The installed discrete graphics card is not top-end, but for the native screen resolution it confidently provides the required level of performance with high-quality graphics, so playing on this laptop with a 144Hz screen will be a pleasure. The case may not be the most beautiful of those that we have seen, but it solves its task. There are no objective complaints about it. Manufacturers reserve metal cases for more expensive models. The keyboard and touchpad are excellent, the sound is good and loud, the interface ports are sufficient. This is not an option for Ultrabooks with a couple of USBs, one of which will definitely be version 2.0. The battery is capacious, it allows you to work for a long time with a low load far from the outlet, but, of course, not to play. The laptop is easy to open and upgrade, as well as to clean the coolers. The installation of an additional SSD is provided. The case is not the most compact and certainly not the lightest, but the increased thickness allowed the installation of a relatively powerful cooling system, which copes with a total consumption of about 160 W and does not allow components to overheat and reduce performance. At the same time, you can quickly switch to profiles with less aggressive coolers, then performance and noise will be lower. Unfortunately, this laptop is never completely quiet. It makes a lot of noise under load, and in idle time it does not stop the fans even in the most economical profile of the cooling system. We hope you liked our review of Asus TUF Gaming A15 gaming laptop. Do let us know your experience of using a gaming laptop in the comments below. Which, in your opinion, is the best gaming laptop in the market? Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.